Hey, this is Vinyl Keith coming at you with another video. Today I'm going to continue my Iron Maiden series, okay? And we're in the Paul Di'Anno era still. So, this is the second release from the band featuring Paul Di'Anno, okay? It was released in the UK on the 16th of February, 1981 on EMI Records, okay? This is a reissue. That's why it looks brand new, because it kind of is. This issue was released in 2014, and I got this brand new. I don't know, last year sometime. Sounds fantastic. Okay. Now, but before I continue to talk about Killers, I've got some corresponding things. Okay. I don't know if I should have showed this in the last video with the first album or not, but this is Live Plus One. This was released December 25th, 1980, only in Japan at the time. Okay, so you could only get it in the United States as an import back then. You know how record stores back in the day had import sections. Once in a while you'd find this, and I guess that would be a treat. So. Yeah, but this was recorded live at the Marquee Club in England in July 1980, okay? And incidentally, if you have the Greek release of this, which probably wasn't released till 81, it features Adrian Smith and Dennis Stratton on it, okay? The Greek release only, because it's expanded to 9 tracks, and they had a couple of live tracks from a different date. So I think this album wasn't released in Greece until 1981. But anyway, this is the the original first press in Japan. Features 4 songs: Sanctuary live, Phantom of the Opera's live, and Drifters live. And then you got the studio cut, Women in Uniform, one of my favorite early tracks from them. This issue only features Dennis Stratton. Yeah, fantastic EP if you ever can get a hold of it, and you can tell it's Japan not only from the obi strip, but in Japan the records, the inner sleeves had a rounded thing, a rounded sleeve to it, where here everywhere else they don't. So. That's another indication this is a Japan release. But this is a great live EP. Sounds great. Reminds me a little bit of Maiden Japan, which I'll get to here in a little bit. Okay. Now back to Killers. I showed you a reissue of the EMI version. Okay. This is the Capitol version, released here in North America. I think here in the United States. And I believe Harvest is from in Canada. I'm not totally sure, but from what I was reading, that kind of sounds like it. And EMI eventually folded in the 90s, but they were absorbed by Capitol, I believe. But yeah. Now this version does have Twilight Zone. 11 tracks. And Paul Di'Anno just soars on this album. Fantastic. And this is quickly becoming my favorite Iron Maiden album. It's probably tied with Power Slave. I think those are my 2 favorites. I put this just a little bit above the debut. Mainly because of Martin Birch producing this album. This is the first one that he produced. And he went on to produce every album for them up through 1992's Fear of the Dark. And I don't think I mentioned it in yesterday's video on the debut album, but it was produced by Will Malone. That's why there's a little bit of a different sound between that album and then Killers on forward. Okay? But yeah. This was produced by Martin Birch. And this is, as you can tell, where is it? This is the Capitol version. That reissue I showed you was EMI. And this one is the Harvest pressing. Same as the Capitol. It's got all 11 tracks, including Twilight Zone. Okay, Twilight Zone was not released on the original EMI version in the UK because it was the first single. And, you know, back then singles weren't put on the albums over there in the UK. I don't know why. That's the way it was from the 60s on up. But yeah, this is a fantastic album. As I said, it might be my favorite. It's at least tied with Power Slave. I love that cover. It's one of the best covers they ever did for an album, I think. Like I said in the debut, Eddie roaming the streets on an eerie night in London. Fantastic artwork by Derek Riggs. I love that live shot. And you can see Eddie back then blowing the smoke on stage. Pretty cool. Eyes lit up. There's the mighty Paul Di'Anno, looking as cool as ever. There's the boss, I think Steve Harris. I think that's Dave Murray. Maybe that's Dave Murray. Maybe that's Adrian. Yeah, that's Adrian Smith. My bad. That's Dave Murray. Clive Burr's behind the smoke on the drum kit. Can't even see him. Yeah, this is a great album, man. Rocks your face off. Now, also, let's see. Maiden Japan. This was released in September 14th of 1981. Okay, another EP. 5 tracks. And this was recorded in Nagoya, Japan, at a place that I can't pronounce, you know, the club or whatever. I'm not even going to try. And this one's on Harvest, as you can tell. It's got Running Free, Remember Tomorrow, Wrathchild, Killers, and Innocent Exile. 5 tracks. Love the live shots on the back. Awesome stuff. Yep, released 14 September 1981. And I believe, well, I think I've got doubles. I think this is the exact same copy. So I've got 2 copies of Maiden Japan. And I believe it's the same label, both on Harvest. Now, I've also got a couple of bootlegs from this era. This one is the Killer USA Tour on Evil Dead Records. Now, most of the Evil Dead records I have are audience recordings, okay? This is a soundboard. And it says it here. It says it here somewhere. It says soundboard recording. And inside, you know, it's a gatefold. It's got all the lyrics. Great packaging as usual. Fantastic stuff. Here's the track list. You can pause it. And this was recorded live at the Henry W. Mayer Festival Park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, June 26, 1981. The entire show. Okay? I tell you, if you could ever find these bootlegs from Evil Dead Records, they're killer. They are really killer. Sound quality, like I said yesterday, not the greatest on some of these, but some are pretty good. This is one of the ones that's pretty good. So you got a good, I got a good recording here of Paul Di'Anno with Iron Maiden. Sounds really good. Love that artwork. I think it was a live broadcast. That's why it says on air. I don't know where it was broadcast. I don't know if it was in England or what, but it was a live broadcast. Now I've got another one. Okay, this one here is really neat. This is the Genghis Khan tour. After they recorded Killers, they were getting ready to go in the studio. They had just fired Paul Di'Anno for being unreliable and drinking drugs or whatever, and they hired Bruce Dickinson to replace him. Now, what this is live at Ruskin Arms in London on December 23rd, 1981. Now, I want to show you. Look who that features singing. Bruce Dickinson. This is one of the earliest shows that Bruce Dickinson did with Maiden. He was hired in, well, let's see. Paul Di'Anno was fired in September of 1981. And they hired Bruce like in early October. So this is I looked it up on setlistfm.com. Excuse me. This is the 8th show, the 8th live show that Bruce Dickinson performed with Iron Maiden. This right here. This is an audience recording. There's a set list. That's why I think this is really neat. I'll show you the inside, because you know I like the gatefold. All the lyrics of all the songs. So this one features on the same, basically the same tour, just different legs of the tour. This is the Killers tour, featuring Paul Di'Anno in June. Okay, one of his last shows. And then in December, live at Ruskin Arms, the 8th show with Bruce Dickinson in December of 81, 2 days before Christmas. All right, well, that's all I got for you on this era of Iron Maiden. Until next time.